Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. And for today's show, we have a very special guest. Very excited to have Sam Amin on the show today. Sam is one of the leading San Francisco and Bay Area attorneys specializing in criminal defense and auto accidents and litigation. I've wanted to get Sam on the show for a long time, and he's finally been able to carve out some time for us today. If you watch YouTube at all, you maybe have seen some of Sam's videos on YouTube. They're very informative, and he talks about everything under the sun with regard to how to help yourself if you get into a legal pinch. Sam, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Andrew, and I thank you very much for the incredible introduction. I'm very happy to be on your show today.
Well, thank you, Sam. And obviously over your head, there's a lot of your awards that you've received and a lot of accommodations that you received. But let's dive into it quickly, because I know time is of the essence for you with regard to everyone that you're helping out in the Bay Area with their legal challenges. You have a very unique approach to helping your customers because of your being a former Marin County deputy public defender. So we want to talk about that a little bit. What's your approach when somebody calls you and has a problem? How do you handle a person that's going through a conflict or a challenge right now from a legal perspective?
Sure. Well, if it's one thing the public defender's office has taught me is how to work under pressure with a large caseload, and how to manage my time properly and divide it, amongst my clients collectively. So being in private practice, it's actually a blessings, because I don't have to work on volume. I can obviously select my clients, and I can dedicate personalized amount of time to each and every client as they come along. With that being said, when a client calls my office, they expect that first and foremost someone sympathetic to listen to what's happening, take down meticulous notes. Then I hop on the phone or a Zoom meeting. Considering COVID, good old days was face-to-face. Obviously, we can't do that, unfortunately, for the foreseeable future at least. But they'll get me. I'm the person who's going to take the lead on their case. I'm the person who's going to strategize. I'm the person who's not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm the person who's going to give them a realistic legal strategy that's going to solve their ultimate angle and get them back on, on with their life, so to speak. And with that being said, I have been very blessed that personalized approach has gained me a lot of these awards you see behind you, and has given me the reputation that I get to enjoy and get to brag about every now and then.
See, I love that. And Sam, you're known throughout the San Francisco Bay Area with your 4 offices up there for your skilled, let's just call it unwavering representation of your clients. And I really like that very much, because you're able to really give the personal approach with your law firm to people that really need it. So I would imagine that when people who are having a difficult problem call some other law firms and then they call you, there's a big difference with dealing with the man whose name is on the front sign. Isn't that the way it works?
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. A lot of other firms, obviously we're a boutique firm. We're not a large law firm with 100 attorneys on staff. So obviously the sort of clientele that the large firms get to enjoy is different than the clientele I get to work with. And quite frankly, I prefer the boutique culture, because I cannot empathize or relate to my clients if I have 3 or 4 different channels of communication through staff or email or phone calls and etc. So in order to be able to have a one-on-one approach, I have to limit the amount of clients. And in a weird way, I have to not grow exponentially. So in order to be selective, in order to divide my time equally amongst my clients in a fair way, I have to also be selective and pick my cases, so to speak. As I get busier, obviously my time becomes more valuable, and my rates obviously reflect that. But I never, my clients don't come to my office because I have the cheapest or the least competitive or the least expensive rates. They come because they get the personalized one-on-one approach. I've had many people call in my office saying, "Wow, you're very expensive in comparison to XYZ attorney or XYZ firm." And I tell them the reason why. And a lot of times, more or less, clients that are looking for quality over, say, a cost-effective approach may end up hiring our firm because they will get what they're paying for, versus someone who might be working on a volume-based practice, and they are just interested in a number of clients, which that's not what we have here.
See, that makes sense. And when we're talking about litigation and auto accidents and criminal defense, if you're facing a situation where you need to reach out to an attorney for representation, you want to find the best possible representation that you can afford for your situation. And I think what you're saying here is when people call you, Sam, you're going to give them sort of the best understanding of the process necessary to help them, what you can do to help them, tell them about your background and experience. And after they come away with that conversation, they're going to know that they're going to get this skilled, unwavering representation that's so important in today's age. Is that sort of the way it works?
100%. And the amount of time I spend on the phone or in person or over text with clients reflects the type of legal representation one is going to get. I cannot have 400 clients and be on a text message with all of them. So absolutely, you're going to get what you are paying for. And if you demand the best, you'll get the best. If you want something cheap, you'll get something cheap.
See, I like that. And a lot of people watch the show, sort of look at these shows from the mindset of the .com internet technology platform that .com Magazine has been able to build. But the reason I wanted to have you on the show today is because there is a segue between what's happening online with a company or a person's reputation and what's going on with the types of things that they have to battle: criminal defense, accidents, litigation. And if you don't hire the best to fight for your rights, what we feel here at .com Magazine is that potentially that sort of unleashes the beast in terms of a potential online disaster for you and your company. So that's why it's so important to reach out to people like Sam that can help you not only for today, but protect your online reputation in the future. Do you find that to be important in people's minds who contact you?
100%. I can't count how many times people have been, say, arrested for wrongfully accused of crimes they didn't commit, and they're freaking out because they have a tech job or lawyers, doctors, engineers, a job at a Fortune 500, and they're saying, "Oh my God, I'm going to be blasted all over the internet. I need damage control." So yes, absolutely, 100%. You nailed it.
So this is very important. So this is the segue between representation and the technology platforms throughout the world, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, YouTube. There's so much information out there in the online space that is not accurate or an accurate reflection of people and businesses. This is one reason why businesses and people need to reach out for the right type of representation like Sam at Amin Law has for those people. Is that right?
That's correct. Could not
Okay,
agree with you more.
let's talk about the three areas. Let's talk about criminal defense, because obviously we're talking about something that's extremely important to people, to get the right attorney and the right representation. You hear it all the time that people that get the wrong representation, sometimes they get the wrong outcomes. And in terms of criminal defense, is there one area of criminal defense that your law firm really specializes in?
Yeah, we handle a array of criminal related matters, but the most common criminal defense issues that we see on the regular would have to be DUIs and domestic violence. And sadly, unfortunately, if it's one thing this pandemic has done is made people drink more and become violent, so to speak. And sadly, we have seen a substantial increase in phone calls from folks that have may have had one too many, jumped in the car because they don't feel safe in an Uber during COVID, and they get pulled over and boom, they're arrested. And or a cohabitants or couples, they get in an argument, and one thing leads to the next. Maybe someone gets physical, or the neighbors call the cops, and the cops are at the front door taking one of the couples to jail or to county, so to speak. So we luckily here in San Francisco Bay Area in general have been successful at mitigating these arrests and making sure to utilize all of our resources, considering mental health diversion, substance abuse diversion, anything where we can hang our hats on in order to mitigate the potential jail or prison sentence that are associated with these crimes. There have been a great, I would say, revolution here in the Bay Area with the district attorney's office working and becoming more willing to listen to defense attorneys such as myself when it comes down to saving people from being convicted with felonies and misdemeanors. So we have been fortunate in helping out a lot of people save their marriages, their relationships, their licenses, their professional careers, their online reputation, you name it.
So there's nothing more important than a marriage that's going well, especially if they're raising children in today's society. And something that you mentioned that I really hadn't thought about until you mentioned it was that a lot of people are not getting into Uber or Lyft type cars like they used to because of the pandemic. And I just thought about my own life. I haven't done it either. So what you're saying is because of that, maybe some people are making the bad judgment of maybe getting behind the wheel of their car, maybe when they had a beer or two, when they otherwise would have taken Uber, except for the fact that the pandemic's going on. So that's a very interesting concept. And that leads into auto accidents, which is another one of your expertises. So someone gets in an auto accident, what should they do? Should they just immediately pick up the phone and call you?
Man, I got to be honest with you. I have family members that still don't know what to do, despite, telling them what to do any event that happens. So unfortunately, people have very short attention span. So I have to make it very concise and easy for folks in order to remember these very important things to do once there is an accident. And it's really simple. If there is an accident, obviously, if you're injured, go to a hospital, see your doctors. Majority of accidents, thankfully, with the technology and having vehicles that are able to kind of brake on their own or avoid pedestrians, etc., have resulted in less severe injuries, thankfully. So I tell folks, if you are involved in an accident and you don't need to go to a hospital or see a doctor's, pull over where it's safe, take as many pictures. Obviously, if there is a police, cooperate with the officer. Make sure you get a police report down with specifics and call your attorney after. The nice thing about having an attorney with an auto accident case is you don't have to pay this attorney out of pocket. It's the attorney will only collect if he or she is able to collect on your behalf as the injured party, as the victim. And sometimes people ask me, well, why shouldn't I call my insurance company and just have them deal with it? A lot of people don't know this, and it's sort of an insider secret. When you're involved in an accident as a victim or as a person who is not at fault, and you call your insurance company and you ask them to take over, say, your medical bills or fix your vehicle, etc., they will do so happily, obviously after you pay your deductible, which a lot of people have. The problem is what they don't tell you is over time, that money they pay on your behalf will be used against your driving record to increase your premiums over time, even though it's not your fault. So I tell folks, don't contact your insurance company if you don't have to, and certainly don't have them pay out if you can get the other party's insurance company to compensate you fully for your damages and would help you avoid paying a deductible on, say, your wrecked vehicle. So I tell them to call the lawyer first before they call their insurance agent in order to avoid any premium hikes and to save themselves the agony of having to chase down the other driver, and who knows if that person is even fully covered or insured. So that's another thing a lot of folks don't understand. On their own policy, they may have underinsured, say, clause that would help supplement any damages or any of the losses they're not able to collect from the responsible party that caused the accident.
Sam, this is the kind of straightforward, no-nonsense approach that really has made you famous throughout the San Francisco area, and we really appreciate you giving that advice out. Now, I also know that you do get involved with litigation. You're a wonderfully aggressive litigator, if I may say so, based on what I've been able to read about you and read about your testimonials from your clients. What is it about litigation that sort of makes you excited? Because it seems like this is something that really you've been able to put at the forefront of your practice.
Well, litigation is part of one's DNA. You can't really become a litigator by going to law school or watching movies and trying to act, unless you're a good actor, of course. But a lot of times what helps me become a good litigator, or what I've learned about myself, is being able to just have a conversation with people every day. Because if you're able to connect with folks, litigation becomes secondhand. You don't have to put on theater or a full-on acting career in order to just connect with folks on a human level.
See, I like that. So you're connecting with your clients on a human level, and the more connected you become with them and the more sort of the better understanding you have about them and their life experiences and what their desires and dreams are in the future, the better able you are to represent them, because you're representing almost an extension, let's just say, of your family. So you're going to represent them just like you would a member of your family. Is that what we're talking about?
100%. The same amount of work I've handled on behalf of family members, I have done for my own personal clients. Nothing excites me more, Andrew, than getting a referral from a very happy client. A lot of times people come to you in the lowest points of their lives, and they're just looking for a straw or rather a lifeboat, to save them from drowning. So I'm humbled to be that person in the beginning, and I'm even more satisfied and happier when I see this person back on track and way. Because if I make that person happy, I'm certain that he or she will refer their family members, and so on and so forth.
That makes a lot of sense. And this is one of the secrets to your success and your firm's success with the type of testimonials that you have and the type of reputation you have. You just take these people that call you, you give them the straight shot at the beginning. You let them know that you pretty much get what you pay for, and you're going to get unbelievable representation in a one-on-one way with the man who's got his name on the front banner of the practice. And there's something to be said about that, because you're not going to hand off this potential client to one of 3 or 5 or 10 other employees. You're going to be dealing with them directly, and you know that the buck stops with you, Sam. Is that sort of the mentality of the whole agency?
That's correct. Interestingly enough, we do things sort of the opposite here in this law firm. So a lot of law firms do the intake. They have 3 or 4 layers of people before they get the attorney. We actually do the opposite. So I am the face. I am the person you will speak with after you get through my assistant, and I will be the person handling your case for almost start to finish. The background work, motion work, anything that has to do with your case is done behind closed doors where you don't see the assistance or the help, because quite frankly, you didn't hire them, you hired me, right? You didn't go, asking about my paralegal or my associates. You asked about Sam Amin. I'm the person you want. I'm the person you're going to get. Of course, I need help. Just like any other attorney, I have a staff, and I have folks that assist me all the time during litigation, during trials. But I am the face, and I am the person who's going to be with you every step of the way.
I love it, Sam. It's very reassuring, especially for people that, like you said, are sometimes in the toughest point of their life, to have someone on the other end of the phone or the Zoom call that can be a reassuring friend, and someone that they know has the reputation and sort of the skill set and the chops, if you will, to help them at the highest level to get them out of their situation. Now, Sam, I know you offer, at least on your website, some type of free consultation. For people watching this, are you only helping people in the California area right now, or can people around the country also reach out to you, Sam, and discuss their case with you?
So we're confined to California practice. I do have a great network of attorneys nationwide. I can make quality referrals if I'm able to. And of course, with respect to consultations, folks can expect to get a complimentary consultation over the phone related to their case. Generally speaking, I want to know if I can assist you before I even, take your money, so to speak. I don't want to just say yes, and end up being disappointing folks. But yes, give us a call if you're ever in trouble in the Bay Area, California, and I'll happily pick up the phone and or take a Zoom consultation.
And that's a wonderful sort of ending sort of discussion point, that Sam will not take every single case. So call Sam and have him understand what's going on in your world. Have him use his expertise and his background and experience to sort of guide you and let you know whether or not he's the right fit for you. And if he is the right fit for you, he's going to let you know. But if he's not the right fit for you, he's going to let you know that as well, and maybe refer you to someone else who maybe can take care of your situation in a more meaningful way. So this is wonderful to have you on the show today, Sam. You are a delight, and I can see why so many people are calling you to try and get your expertise to help them with their legal situations. And I wanted to thank you for being on the show today.
Andrew, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I look forward to speaking with you again, hopefully in the near future.
Can't wait. Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you.